It is 6:29 a.m. It is 37 degrees. We're gonna bike around Europe's 24th biggest lake. It's the biggest lake in France, the biggest lake in Switzerland, and it's about to get encircled.
You might think that it starts today, but for me, it really started when I arrived in Europe to live here for the first time, and I was in the airport in Porto, and I sent an email to Crous, which is the student residence in Paris, and I said, hey, I'm gonna be there in 3 hours to move into my new apartment. And they said, sorry, we don't do check-ins on Friday. And I had to struggle and find somewhere else to stay, arriving to a new country where I don't speak the language. And that was my first round of bullshit. Today, we're gonna do another one.
So the goal is to complete this lake in 10 hours. We're gonna do about 163 kilometers in the next 10 hours. So we're gonna have Paul join us along the way. We're gonna have Mia join us along the way.
While we have the opportunity before we start, I wanna thank Pedro and Elise Hasselman who hosted me when I first arrived here, because otherwise it would have and shout out Hermenia. Legal.
You're mad legal, Hermenia.
Beleza.
Got our 2 bikes here. We just had an espresso, 2 vitamin waters, a battery, a hat, 3 granola bars, and a banana.
I have 2 gloves, 1 pair of gloves.
1 per hand.
1 per hand. 3 granola bars, 2 water bottles, and a pair of Bushnell binoculars.
Which is by far the most heavy thing that either of us have. It's now 6:37, which means that we're starting this at 6:38, and we need to be back in this spot by 4:38 p.m. All right, just fisted and we're ready to start biking. Ready?
Commence la séance.
All right, let's go. It is 6:39. Et c'est parti. Ça roule. 55 km to Lausanne. Welcome to Versoix. Versoix!
Versoix, mon gars.
Woo! 1 layer off. We made it to the lake. As the morning progressed, we kept up a fast pace of about 15 miles per hour. We knew that it would be essential to keep up a fast pace in the morning because we were going to get really tired as the day went on. The only thing that could stop us was the lack of sensation in our feet from the bitter cold. However, we knew that this wouldn't last long because the sun was becoming more and more visible as time went on, and with every Swiss village we passed through, we knew that warmth was on the way. Peyton Manning was drafted with the first overall pick in the 1998 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts. And soon we had reached the town of Nyon, the first major landmark of our trip, or, as the locals refer to it, because no one ever stops there. Well, they just kind of go, and they're gone. Oh, bro, do you see that?
What?
The sun is shining on those buildings over there.
Nice. Eventually, our feet will be warmer.
Yeah, definitely. The feet temperature is the biggest ailment so far.
Yeah.
But we're doing okay. We got thick socks. It's been 1 hour and 2 minutes. Our feet are only getting warmer as the day goes on, and the sun is almost here. It's a beautiful day. There's a bird over there. That's good. Got some snow up there. God is on the way, and so is the sun.
Yeah.
And we're like 17 miles in now.
Oh yeah.
That means we're about 17% of the way done. And with views like these, it did feel like God was on the way. What's more, we had almost reached the town of Rolle, which meant that it was time for a snack break. Ça roule! The friendly French guy on my biking map application had just informed us that we'd reached 20 miles. Great news for us as we were 1/5 of the way done. Alright, so we're in Rolle, on roule à Rolle. Now we're eating some snacks. Exactly 20 miles in, which is tight. We're going at 13.8 miles per hour on average, which is really good. We're definitely on pace and like going really fast. So
It took me 8 weeks to open up my bank account with BNP. I think BNP is the worst bank of all time. If you go to any BNP location on Google Maps, anywhere in Paris, the typical scores that you will see with hundreds of reviewers is between 1.3 and 2.4 stars, which is abysmal, horrible, bad, arid. Don't expect good customer service from BNP.
banana, Nesquik bars.
Yeah, Nesquik bar.
Belvita protein bar is by far one of the best things I've eaten all day.
Not a paid sponsor.
Ça roule à Rolle.
Ça roule à Rolle.
Look at this castle and the lake and the sun is out. I can feel my toes again, which is awesome. All right.
C'est reparti.
Oh, I'm freezing right now.
Oh, this is terrible.
I was born in the cold. And And with that, we were back on the road, with my former home, Lausanne, the next major landmark.
Lausanne, 21 km, c'est pas mal.
This is what kept us going strong during this portion of the ride. That, coupled with the fact that Paul, my former roommate and a seasoned biker with chiseled glutes, lay just over the horizon and would join us at any moment.
Bro, this shit's a literal park. That's awesome. Là on a Paul.
And just like that, Paul was with us, to inspire us, and maybe more importantly, to block our wind. We rode through the city of Morges, and we were well on our way to Lausanne.
Ça monte. Quand tu fais le tour du lac, au côté français.
I now asked Paul about a crucial decision that we would have to make on the other side of the lake. You see, there's two ways to bike around the lake on the French side because of the irregular shape. One is to follow the shore of the lake, which is surely prettier and probably better roads for biking. The other was to follow the road more frequented by cars, which would surely be faster, but more annoying and probably less beautiful. I wanted to get Paul's opinion because he's biked around this lake dozens of times. Thousands, maybe.
Toi, tu fais quoi quand tu fais le tour du lac?
J'ai fait les deux, mais j'avoue que je préfère les petites routes.
Ouais. Est-ce qu'il y a les voies cyclables comme ça en France?
Pas tout le temps.
Ok.
Pas plus de voitures.
Ok. C'est une décision à prendre après alors.
As we passed by my school, EPFL, Paul took over the camera duties so that I could relish in the moment of seeing my alma mater.
C'est joli comme une folie.
La tour Eiffel de l'EPFL.
Reaching EPFL meant that we were almost in the city of Lausanne, and after coasting down a nice downhill,
Lausanne.
there we were,
Lausanne.
35 miles in
35
and still
miles.
going strong. The best part is that what lay ahead of us was one of the most beautiful regions of all of Switzerland, and what was sure to be the most inspiring part of our trip.
Je sais pas comment j'ai oublié mes lunettes. Et mes shorts de vélo, mec. Ici c'est Lausanne, mais là ça monte vers Heisen. Hop là. We're about 37 miles in Lausanne. We got Paul out here blocking our wind. And it's a great day to have a day. 63 miles to go. So we've reached the end of Lausanne now. And all we got for the next like 15 kilometers is these beautiful vineyards, the Lavaux.
And after a brief stint in a couple more picturesque Swiss villages, we had reached the vineyards. Almost. First I dropped my glove.
Désolé, mec. Mec, t'es un vrai bon ami.
No gloves left behind.
But once I got my glove back, we had reached the vineyards. And despite our fatigue and our growing hunger, the view of the mountains ahead of us and the vineyards to our left made it so that we could have continued through anything.
Là, ça fait 45 miles qu'on a fait. Allez, sors de ta tête. Wow, we're about to bend these rules.
And after about 15 kilometers of this, we were ready for a break. We had almost reached the town of Vevey, where we spent about 45 minutes huddling in the train station for warmth and eating whatever we could get our hands on. And soon it was time to bid our friend goodbye.
We're out here in Vevey right now. We just biked 47 miles. We're like almost halfway done. And I just want to give a huge shout out to this dude Paul for blocking our wind for like a good hour almost, 45 minutes since Morges. And then we just ate mad food. Like we each had like a full sandwich and some biscuits and a quiche. Quiche was mad good.
Ramequin au fromage.
Ouais. And some tea. So the tea was the most important part in this cute ass bottle. Tu veux dire des mots pour les gens?
Bah, vous avez presque fait la moitié. Bien du courage à vous.
Bah merci. Hein.
Trop bien.
And just like that, we were cruising again. After leaving Vevey, we soon entered Montreux, the home of the Montreux Convention. And though we had had a good hearty meal, we had also taken an hour of time. We weren't going to be able to dilly-dally if we were going to make our goal of finishing the lake in 10 hours. To make things even more complicated, we were now entering territory where I had never biked and wasn't familiar with the route, so we had to factor in navigation time. After 2 strong seasons and playoff appearances in 1999 and 2000, Peyton Manning heavily regressed in his 4th year. The Colts went 6-10 and failed to make the playoffs.
Paraglider.
Though the views over the next section were more beautiful than ever, the trails that we were presented with were not. Oftentimes we had to demount from our bikes.
That's crazy.
And cross obstacles like this.
19 kilometers to Evian. We have 6 more kilometers to France. We should be with Mia in like a little over an hour. It's been a little bit tough because it's been some kind of messed up paths recently. But here's the Rhone River and that makes everything better.
And after a few more kilometers, we were at the town of Saint-Gingolph, which marks the border between Switzerland and France. A seemingly harmless decision of a path that went down to the right, pointing bikes towards it,
It just said bikes go to the right.
turned out to be more monumental than we could have imagined.
This is the border crossing. What do you think? I mean, it did say bikes go down here.
We opted to take the bike path down to the right, and for one shining moment we let the gravity pull us down towards the lake. We felt the wind rush through our hair, with a nice rock wall to our left. However, we could not have been prepared for what we would find at the bottom of this hill. The path had been blocked, and there was no sign pointing it out up above. We were now going to have to retrace our steps and go back up the hill.
That's ass. This has been 5 exact hours of biking now. 62 miles we've done. Total time is 6 hours and 14 minutes. So that means we're actually behind. Yeah, we've done 62 miles in 6.2 hours.
That's right. The recent pauses and detours had slowed us down so much that now we were on pace to finish in exactly 10 hours. And as Sal put it, we needed
Things like this.
Yeah.
So we are near the French-Swiss border.
It's right there.
A moment ago, the map suggests to us to go to the right, which is this nice steep downhill, and we thought we were going to coast it along the side of the lake and it was going to be really nice. At the bottom, we go around the corner and there's a construction site blocking the entire path. It's interesting that this happened, this nonsense happens as we're near the French border. And this is a great time to talk about some of the other nonsense that happens. One time, I'm applying for my titre de séjour, and I submit the application in June, and it expires in August, my previous visa. A week before my visa expires, they reply to me and they rejected my application, which was a lot of nonsense. I submit the next application 1 or 2 days.
Why did they
after
reject your application?
I don't know. They said a document was missing, but with these people, documents aren't missing, they lose them. And I submitted the new request 2 days after the previous one expires. It doesn't get approved for about 6 months, and I'm just kind of with this temporary status which says your documents have been approved of, so you can show this to the authorities if something ever happens. And that's what I was using until February. And shortly after that, I get a notification that says that it's been approved and I need to go pick up this document. Except for that, I never get notified of where to pick up this document, when to pick it up, what's going on. And it's an uncontactable organization. Website's always down, no phone number, no email. There's like a little write a comment here to try and contact us. You do that and nobody ever responds. So I don't get my titre de séjour until the school gets involved to contact the prefecture on my behalf. And this was last month in October when I finally get this document, which is 14 months after I submitted the second request. So about 16 or 17 months after I submit the initial request. And the worst fucking part is when I get there, this guy has the balls to look me in the eye and he goes, "That'll be another 185 euros because you did it late." And I had never been so angry in my entire life. And all of that is coming back as our path gets blocked on our way back into France.
Let's go conquer the France.
Where's my late fee? Why can't I charge them fucking 180 euros for being 15 months late with my titre de séjour? Nonsense.
All right, here we go. Into France.
Into France.
We've done 62 miles out of about 100. in 6.2 hours. So that means that we're gonna have to keep pace in order to finish strong. I think we're gonna make it in less than 10 hours. Let's do it.
Very good. Let's go.
The next major landmark was Evian, yes, like the water, where my girlfriend Mia was waiting for us. Unfortunately, there's no footage of this next part of the journey, but it was never about the footage. During these 12 miles, we biked harder than we had up to this point, against all odds. And just like Peyton did in 2006, after 8 years of failure and coming up short, it was during this stretch that we won our first Super Bowl. And finally, we were with Mia. Not only did she provide us with more granola bars, my sunglasses, and my biking shorts, she provided us with a much needed spark.
So we're 76 miles into this thing. We have about 23 or 24 miles left to go, and we have about 2 hours left to do it. So it's gonna be cutting it a little bit close, but we're gonna push and we're gonna try to make it.
And after some directional slip-ups, we were back on the road. We had decided to take the faster, more direct route because we didn't have the luxury of time, even though we knew that the route would be more of a pain with the number of cars.
It's not fair, your legs are too fresh. Like, you're actually kicking our ass right now. No, like, you should go as fast as you can. And then we'll keep pace with you.
It was true. Sal and I had biked over 75 miles, and Mia's legs were as fresh as a freshly picked avocado. She was kicking our asses, but that's exactly what we needed to keep us going. I had fun sitting in the back, drafting when I could, and letting them figure out the directions. We passed through the town of Tonon, which provided some more directional difficulties, but soon we were back on the road. But hey, Peyton lost a couple Super Bowls in there as well. Not everything can go perfect. All we needed to do was win our last Super Bowl, which was this last upcoming stretch between us and Geneva.
Okay.
Leaving the town of Tonon actually provided us with some nice downhills, which was a rare sight for this mostly flat trip.
So we're doing good. According to the map, we got 1 hour and 25 minutes of biking left, and we have 1 hour and 45 minutes to do it. So, you know, so we're going at a good pace. We just have to maintain this pace for like an hour and a half more, and then we're gonna do it. It's a beautiful place out here in the France, and I just want to thank them for having us. So thank you, France, for not being too mischievous today, except for that one construction shit. Let's bring it home. 1.5 hours to go. Just peed and drank some water, and we're going back for it. Getting back on the road right now. Yalla.
Finally, we had reached the roads that Paul had advised us against taking, and it was easy to see why. It was essentially a divided highway, and there was no bike lanes at all. One positive of this part was that the abundance of cars definitely made us bike faster. And within a few minutes of that, we had reached the luscious green fields of Haute-Savoie. At some point, I accidentally filmed Sal in slow motion, but I decided to keep it in the video, because it looks kind of cool. What's more, now the beautiful Mont Salève, which stands beautifully over Geneva, was in sight. The end was near.
17 kilometers. Let's go. Let's finish. We will finish the race around the lake. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Can't even drive because of the cyclists and shit.
The next beautiful sight proved to be a bus stop of the Geneva public transportation system.
It is 3:42 p.m. Mec.
Yeah.
Ça va? We're back in the Schweiz, just about. We got like 100 meters. And up here, we're crossing the border. Woo! Look at this. Look at this. Let's go. Finally back in a free country where they have McDonald's. Let's go. Treize kilomètres? What is this? That's okay, we'll do it. All right, we have 29 minutes of biking time left, which accounts for 9.8 kilometers, and we have 41 minutes to do it. So we're gonna get back out there in like 1 minute, and that gives us 40 minutes to bike 29 minutes. Woo!
we're gonna make it because of this little cake that Paul gave us.
Thank you, Paul.
Shout out, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. All right, we're getting back to it. Let's go, team. 29 more minutes. Bye-bye.
As soon as we finished our break, this downhill gave our legs some much needed relief. And the best part of it was that at the end of the hill was the beautiful Geneva skyline, one of the most aesthetically pleasing cities in the world. But it never looked more beautiful to my eyes than at that moment.
Geneva. Let's go. C'est Genève. We've crossed back to the other side of the lake. Here we are, back in Genève. We freaking did it. Just got to finish this out. Got like maybe 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers to go. Just got to finish hard.
Hi, this is Mia. We're almost near the finish. These guys have been going so quickly. Even though I just did the last 60 or like 50 kilometers with them, they're pushing me. So I'm very proud of them.
And then it was over. We had done it. But had we done it in under 10 hours?
You did it?
We did it.
Woo! You should do a hug.
Fuck, wait, I'm coming. I just wanted to be deaf though. It took 9 hours and 47 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of pain. 100.71 miles we biked.
Nice.
100.7.
Damn, my ass hurts.
Yeah, my butt hurts.
Yeah.
The rest of me hurts as well. Probably most of the legs.
Yeah.
I just want to thank Mia and Paul, and like most of all, like
Yeah.
it really made everything possible to get back in these 10 hours because you guys
It
really
was all you.
provided us, like we were gonna finish no matter what, but you guys gave us the extra step, so
Woo!
a round of applause. We're just really trying to put on a good show for the fan. I mean, we watch film all week. I think that's the big thing. Like,
Yeah.
we're watching film. We have a great coaching staff.
We're studying the lakes. We know
Yeah.
how they play.
You know, they're a good team. You got to give them credit. But I just think we really played our best game, and it allowed us to go the distance. So, yeah, thank you to the fans. That's really who we show up and play for. So.
And the corporate sponsors.
And our corporate sponsors, yeah. If we didn't bike down to the lake at Vevey to pee, we might not have made it over 100 miles. If there had been a bathroom at the gap, we might not have done an extra 0.7 and then made it 100 miles of biking. Although we did bike down here in the morning.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we biked 100 miles in under 10 hours.
How many hours of biking was it, did you say?
Oh yeah. Yeah, 8 hours and 9 minutes.
And finally, just like Peyton Manning in Super Bowl 50, victorious, we went down to the lake to enjoy the peaceful and quiet evening and relish in our accomplishment.
Day after the bike trip, this dude Sal brought binoculars, which are the heaviest thing that either one of us brought, and we have not broken them out yet. So now
It's time to use them.
it's time
to
use
get
them.
their use.
We've earned the use of the binocular.
Here you go.
It's in a whole
No,
like
you
sacoche
use
and
it
everything.
I use them plenty.
Sitting down there at that lake, the same one that we had just biked around, looking at the mountains, the passers-by, and the birds. More than anything, it made me reflect. It's just like Peyton said. Pressure is something you feel when you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, like this is the best view.
It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. I pray every night, sometimes long prayers about a lot of things and a lot of people, but I don't talk about it or brag about it because that's between God and me, and I'm no better than anybody else in God's sight.
Like 2 weeks ago. And
I was never on a mission to be an NFL quarterback. I wanted to be a good high school player, and I worked hard at that. That made me good enough to play in college, and then I wanted to be a good quarterback in college. During college, I played well enough to make it to the NFL. I never took it for granted and really wanted to play hard at each level, and I've always had a lot of fun doing what I wanted to do.
I'd do it again.
Guys, I need this.
Here you go. It was a bad throw. My bad.
And even though none of us could ever hope to live up to the legacy that Peyton Manning left behind, or his wisdom at that, I think Sal summed up the day best when he said,
Dude, honestly, that's sick as hell.